Hi guys, good morning and welcome back. So today we'll try to discuss one of the very frequently asked interview questions. Uh, what is the difference between smoke testing and sanity testing, guys? So this is most frequently and more often asked interview questions during the manual testing interviews. So understanding these concepts will show that how as a tester you are how strong as a tester in your work experience, right? So this shows how credibly you are working in your previous organization. So that we will break down today from beginning to end. So we will go a little bit deep into that. So we'll try to understand them. So before going to that, if you like my content, please request you to please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, guys. So being that said, so let us start with the what is the difference between smoke testing and sanity testing, guys. So before going to that, let me put the context for you that so basically the testing will happen in the cycles, right? Say for example, we got the requirement from the customer, so then the VPs and the higher level leaders has given the plan of implementation. So then it will go to the dev team for the implementation. So then at the same time it goes to the QA team for the test case preparations. So meanwhile the development will start, and then they will build the feature, and then they will implement the feature. And once the implementation is done, they will do the unit testing, whether the input and the input versus the output is working fine or not. Once that is fine, so then they will push the code into the QA site. So then officially they will hand it over to QAs, okay, so to test the feature. Okay, so that is where exactly the smoke testing comes into the picture. Once they submit the feature for the QAs, so we have to test that feature. How do we test? As soon as they given the feature, by that time we will be ready with the test cases, because the requirement was given before that itself. So as soon as they given the feature, we will not go and execute all our test cases on that particular feature. So what we usually does is that we usually identify what are the critical scenarios, what are the business scenarios, what are the basic functionalities of that particular feature. For example, login page, if you consider what is the critical functionality of the login page. So the if we provide the valid username and password, and if we hit the login button, it should log in successfully, then it should land into the home page. So this is a critical scenario. If this itself is not working, then there is no point of testing that particular feature, correct? So this basic, this critical, this business feature is called as the business scenarios testing is called as the smoke testing. So you have to understand this smoke testing in the real time perspective, how the industry operates. So how we practices in the industry wise, correct? So that we have to remember. So the moment when they submit the build, we usually test the basic, critical and business flows. So that is what we call it as smoke testing. If those are working fine, then that feature is in for testing. Otherwise, send it back to the dev team for the resubmit for testing. So I mean, adding the comment in Jira saying that this feature is not working as per the expectation, the basic functionality itself is not working, so please do recheck and please do resubmit for testing. So then we will push it back to the dev team. So that is what we call it as smoke testing, guys. Smoke testing usually we do it on the surface level. So it is a broader picture, just to touch the corners, just to touch the the surface level. So I mean, if I want to say it is a year level kind of a testing. So we will not go in detail, and we will not say, for example, if we have written hundreds of test cases, we don't really check all 100 test cases on that particular feature. So we just check the stability of the build is correct or not. So before testing the fully that particular feature, so which is very frequent in nature. As soon as I mean, say for example, if they have submitted 100 builds, we do smoke testing on all the 100 builds also. Okay, so this is what about the smoke testing. So then come to the sanity testing. What is sanity testing, guys? The sanity testing is like, say for example, the smoke testing is completed. Okay, so then that feature is in for the testing. So then you start executing all your hundreds of test cases which you have written for testing. So during that testing, one end-to-end functional testing you do. Okay, then you will get the bugs. So if it is not working as per the expectation, then you will raise it as a bugs. All the bugs you have raised it. So then you send that particular task to the bug fixing state. So then developer will review all those bugs and then they will fix the bugs. Once fix the bugs, they will deploy those fix into the QA site. So now you have to check that those bugs whichever you posted, whether those bugs are working correct or not, those fixes are correct or not. So whether that, say for example, the moment when you put the invalid login details and invalid password also, if it is trying to log in, that is a functional issue. So they might have, if they would have fixed that issue, you have to check, like by passing the invalid username, invalid password and clicking on the login, it should not work. So it should fail, basically login should fail, it should not land into the home page. So that is what the bug fix verification. So basically the moment when the bug is fixed, say for example 10 bugs you have posted, all the 10 bugs you have to verify what is the expected result, what is the actual results. So that is what the sanity testing is. The sanity testing is which is very deep in nature. So we will go into each and every bug and we will verify that whether that bug is fixed or not. So that is the reason it's kind of a very deep testing. So which is confirm the specific change is working fine or not. So when it comes to smoke testing, so we usually check the stability, but when it comes to the sanity testing, we don't check the stability, we check the specific changes. Say for example, they might, if they would have changed the if else statement, whether that particular change is working or not. So that is where the smoke testing comes in the picture. So when it comes to the smoke testing, as and when the build is deployed, we will do the smoke testing. But when it comes to the sanity testing, even the minor error or minor bug is fixed or some enhancement is made, so we do the sanity testing that time as well. Okay, so but when it comes to the smoke testing, we do it before the actual testing. To accept that feature for the testing, we do the smoke testing, then accept it for testing. But when it comes to the sanity testing, first after the smoke testing, we do the sanity testing. So smoke testing before testing we do it, sanity testing we do after the smoke testing. So that you have to remember, guys. So it is the smoke testing is very frequent in nature. As and when the build is deployed, we will do the smoke testing. But when it comes to the sanity testing, whenever the bug is fixed, that time only we do the testing. So which is called as needed, whenever we want, we check it. Okay, so the smoke testings are basically majority of the cases we automate it, because those are the basic criterias and those are the critical scenarios and those are the business use cases. So those has to be automated, because that is where we will be getting the business value, right? Say for example, if you are introducing the feature into the system, so that should get some business value. So that is the reason that will most of the times those scenarios will be automated. But when it comes to the sanity testing, not required to automate, because each and every bug we cannot automate it. So we do check it manually and we will close that particular bug. So this is very very important interview question. So yes, everybody should aware about this, because if you don't know the basic difference between the smoke testing and sanity testing, so then it shows that you are not strong in QA background. So that is the reason you have to thoroughly understand the process, how it works in the industry, and how we perform during the standard procedure, SOPs we call it as standard operating procedures. So if you take out the standard operating procedures of a QA, first requirement analysis, then test plan, then requirement writing the test cases, then once the build is submitted, do the smoke testing. So these are all the step by step procedure that we follow during the testing. So you have to incorporate all these best practices in your testing. Even during the interviews also you have to explain it clearly, saying that you should show that confidence that you have, you have that strong knowledge of testing. You have, really having that expertise in the testing. So it shows, guys, because this is a very very basic thing. So keep these things in mind, so that it will not make you unconfident or not confident during the interviews. So let me summarize these points for you. The smoke testing and sanity testing difference. So smoke testing usually unstable. To check the stability we check, and sanity testing mostly the features will be stable, only the bug fix changes we will be verifying it. Smoke testing is a broader coverage, and sanity testing is a limited coverage, and we call it as a narrow coverage also. Okay, so when it comes to the smoke testing, the depth is very shallow, and sanity testing depth is very deep. And the purpose of smoke testing is to check the stability, and the purpose of sanity testing is to confirm the specific changes is working fine or not. So then whenever there is a new build, we will do the smoke testing. Whenever there is a minor bug fixes, we do the sanity testing. And before testing we do the smoke testing. After smoke testing we do the sanity testing. So usually the smoke testing test cases will be documented, but the sanity testing test cases will not be documented, so it's a kind of an ad hoc. Okay, so then comes usually smoke testing can be done by both QAs and developers, so it can be done by anybody, but sanity testing will be done by specifically QAs. So the frequency of smoke testing is very high. It will be performed very often. So, and when it comes to sanity testing, whenever we need it, so that time only we will be doing it. So in when it comes to the automation perspective, the smoke testing will always be automated. Smoke testing test cases will be automated, but when it comes to the sanity testing, we don't really automate them. So with that said, so this is what the difference between the smoke testing and sanity testing. I hope you guys understood clearly. If you have any concerns, please put it in the comments. I would love to go through your comments. I'll try to clarify your doubts, guys. So if you like my content, please hit the like button, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so very much for watching, guys. Thank you.